How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Asian Filmness. My name is Ray and I love movies. And the movie we'll be talking about today is a 2017 film, Ajin, Demi-Human, directed by Mitohiro Katsuyuki. Ajin is an action thriller which stars Satoh, Takeru, and Ayano Go, and it's based on the manga of the same name written by Sakurai Gamon. I myself have never seen the anime nor have I read the manga, but you should be able to go into these live action adaptations and enjoy them for what they are. And just judging from what the general buzz is, it seems like there's a lot of hype surrounding this live action adaptation. So the basic story, it's about this next evolution of humans called Ajin, as the title hints at. And what makes these Ajin special is, well, they're immortal. Whenever they die, they regenerate and then they come back to life. And the existence of Ajin, they're no secret kept away from human society. As a matter of fact, the government broadcasts their existence and lets everyone know whenever a new Ajin is discovered. And our lead Ajin in this story is played by Satoh Takeru, and he's a man by the name of Nakai. The guy discovers he's an Ajin by dying in a car accident and then miraculously coming back to life. But then he finds himself in this government science facility being experimented on, and it's there that he's rescued by Satoh, who's played by Ayano Go. And Satoh is shooting these scientists left and right, killing, and he tries to recruit Nagai to his cause, and he hands him a gun, and he invites him to shoot off the scientists who had experimented on him. Of course, Nagai refuses, and it results in this conflict between Nagai and Satoh, and of course they fight. And then the story centers around Satoh as he's trying to amass this army of Ajin, and in order to essentially take over the country and kill as many humans as he possibly can, because he likes killing humans. And of course Nagai, he's just trying to run away from the madness, trying to live his own life, until of course he has to confront Satoh for what he's doing. So that's the basic story. Now let's talk about the positives and negatives I felt about Ajin. The thing I like the best about Ajin is the action and the choreography, and of course the high body count. And according to what I've read online, the team who is responsible for choreographing the action in Ajin is also the same team that choreographed the action in the live action Rurouni Kenshin movies. And the action in those movies were fantastic. They were amazing and fun to watch. And Ajin is just as fun. And I think it's really unique given the concept that they had to work with. Now, as we said, Ajin, they're immortal, but they can still die. But when they die, it takes a little bit, but then they regenerate back to life. And it's fun to watch. Like, you see Satoh just going gung-ho into these hordes of humans and decimating folks left and right, until of course he takes in so much damage that way he just can't move anymore. And so what does he do? He shoots himself in the head, kills himself, and about a few seconds later he regenerates fully back to life, and he just continues to kill more folks. It's fun, it's interesting. But yeah, I can't expect anything less from the team that brought to us Rurouni Kenshin. And just a reminder to you guys, Satoh Takeru and Ayano Go were both part of the Rurouni Kenshin series. Another thing I liked were the special effects, and not necessarily the way everything looked. I mean, it didn't look as realistic as, let's say, Hollywood movies, but what I really liked was the way everything moved in relation to the choreography. Something about Ajin is that when they regenerate, this black smoke kind of manifests around them and repairs their broken body parts. And the same smoke kind of brings to life this black ghost that every Ajin has control of. This black ghost, I thought it was kind of similar to the stands in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. These ghosts, they fight alongside of the Ajin in their battles. And what I really like is when you mix the two. You had the two Ajins fighting, and you also had the two ghosts fighting, and the way they would mix the two in the choreography. You had Ajins working together with the ghosts and doing some really cool teamwork choreography. It was whole bunches of fun. But if you look at the way it didn't look like it was intentionally made to look realistic. It still had a really kind of anime feel to it. They didn't really try to make it look like the most realist of ghosts, if that's a word. But I really like how everything moved in relation to the camera work. But yeah, the action, the concept, and the way they mix the two together, and I kind of like the music that they had playing. Granted, there is only one song, this kind of generic sounding techno track that plays anytime there's a confrontation or a fight, but it did something to really hype up the atmosphere. What else? The visuals and the sets were all nice looking, but above all that, I really enjoy Ayano Go's performance the most out of everyone in the story. Satoh, he was a really charismatic character and he was really entertaining. He was killing folks left and right, and you can tell by his gestures and his facial expression that he was having a whole lot of fun just killing folks, and the way he would respond and react to everyone dying around him. You couldn't help but like him. Like, it was to the point there are many times I was cheering for Satoh to win the fight instead of Nagai. I just really like Satoh a whole lot. Granted, I'm pretty sure the casting of Ayano in the role of Satoh might not rub anime fans the right way. I mean, you look at the original version, he's this old dude, but then you look at Ayano, he's this young dude, he's this young guy. I mean, they have the same outfit, if that counts. And nonetheless, Ayano makes flat caps look really cool. So now let's talk about the negatives I felt that Ajin had. First, while I really like Satoh, I really didn't like any other character they had in the story. I thought for the most part, the majority of the characters were dull, or boring, one-dimensional, what have you, and overall just uncharismatic. Like the tone of the story, I mean, it's meant to be a serious tone, but then when you have some hype choreography and hype action, you kind of need that one character to really bring the entertainment value up for the story, and that's what Satoh does. It's not what anybody else in the story does. Now, that being said, Satoh Takeru, the guy who plays Nagai, you know, he was fine in his performance. Like, I thought whatever they had written up for him to do, he delivered. But then at the same time, I didn't think his character was all that interesting. It was kind of boring. It's like they didn't really give you enough reason to cheer Nagai for his fight against Satoh. You were cheering more for Satoh, I felt. Like, it felt like Nagai was there just for the sole purpose of a good guy to be there. But then there wasn't really enough for me to really get behind this main character. Speaking of other characters, I felt the story could have used a lot more of Kawaii Rina, who plays, I forget her name, Shimomura. In the story, she's basically the girl Ajin who protects the government officials. Like, I thought her character was cool in the sense that she's this girl who fights like Black Widow and she can use Ajin powers. I felt she needed more screen time to develop her character and just to show off what her character can do when fighting. And above all that, I felt the story was kind of basic. Like, I really didn't feel anything unique about the story as a whole. I mean, you take away all the fancy Ajin powers and you have a typical story about a dude who's just trying to get an army control the world. There's nothing really beyond that. Granted, they try to squeeze in a story that's pretty reminiscent of, let's say, X-Men, where you have these group of folks, the Ajin, similar to the mutants, who are just kind of persecuted by the regular humans, just all because they're different. They have the power to wreak havoc or to keep peace, but because no one really knows what the hell they're up to, they're feared and persecuted. But I felt even with that premise, they really didn't develop that as much as they could have. But you know, overall, I thought Ajin was really cool and really flashy with a really neat concept in terms of stories with lots of cool fighting and action. And I think to really enjoy at least the live action of Ajin, you really just watch it as a visual experience, you know, for the fighting, for the action, for the music, for everything it presents to you visually. But you don't go into it expecting a really deep story or really philosophical questions being asked. It's really meant to just be fun and action-packed. As I said before, I thought the story kind of felt a little flat. They could have done more with this narrative about how Ajin are persecuted or how Ajin are experimented on. They mention it, but it was really all just used as the reason for Nagai and Satoh to fight in the end. You know, I say that just because, like, after the big fight at the end, they really didn't go back and explore the question of the fear of Ajin by the normal humans that they have presented in the beginning of the story. They just kind of left it hanging and really just built everything up for the final fight. You know, if you're looking for that kind of story, it might not necessarily be a bad thing. I felt like just all around, it was just missing that extra layer to really make this movie a really, really well-rounded experience. But yeah, as I said, on the visual side, excellent. Couldn't expect less from the Rurouni Kenshin guys. Do I recommend this movie? Yeah, I sure do. Especially if you're a fan of Rurouni Kenshin and the kind of action it was presented in it. Though I really can't say I would recommend this for fans of the anime. I mean, to be honest, I really don't know how it compares to the original anime. But if you guys know, then feel free to leave a comment down below. And so you had a lot of fun nonetheless. And yes, those are my thoughts on Ajin Demi-Human, the live action. What did you guys think? Whatever questions you have or whatever thoughts you have, leave a comment below. You can catch me on Twitter at RayMaru555 if you want to chat up more about movies. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching. And if you liked what you watched, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to Asian Filmist so you can join in more discussions about Asian films. Take it easy, guys. See you next time.
獲物は確かにいただいたぜ。